Welcome, everyone, to Wednesday Night is Overbooked. I am your host, Joker Voice. We are all back together as last 2 weeks, folks had work to do. I think Brad actually had work to do, where Ego was showing his tits and catching beads in New Orleans.
They were
not many beads, probably. Not many.
All right. Speaking of
tough crowd.
Speaking of LeftEyeEgo, he is to my stage right. He's the man responsible for our intro. LeftEyeEgo, sir, how are you this week?
I am doing fantastic. I'm ready to go. We are less than a week and a half away from Wrestlemania, so everything's shaping up. I'm excited to talk about it.
Right on. And right below him is our legal expert, the man who is personally trying to fund the Christian Laettner statue on Duke's campus. It is the Duke Devil 95, Bradley Burnett. How are you, sir?
We don't need to talk about Duke basketball at all right now. Thank you very much. That's still.
Are you okay, sir?
No, not that good. Not as bad as the Final Four a couple years ago, but this hurt. This was hurtful.
Man.
Okay, I'm sorry, sir. And right below him is the man who lives in the bunghole of the United States, that being New Jersey. It is the Macho Man, Matt the Unbearable. Matt the Unbearable 73. How are you, sir?
Doing good. As well as can be expected given all the crap going on in my life. But
gotcha.
Gotta keep on trucking.
Gotcha. All right, before we get started, I have some news and just stuff to say. A dear friend of the channel and of our little YouTube community here. He is in the chat right now. He is our wrench. This is Jacob Ironside. There is a link in the description. Jacob and his family are in a bit of some dire need. They have to relocate, and they have till the end of May. As I said, there is a link in the description. Jake, if you would like to put your GoFundMe link in the chat at intervals throughout the show, please do. If you can help in any way, if we were a demonetized channel, I could do something, but this is the best that I can do right now. Also in the description is the link to that Joker Voice merch store. I'm not saying you should get anything from the Joker Voice merch store. There's nothing. It's. And this lovely logo was also done by Mr. Jacob Ironside too. So, just saying. All of our links for our socials are down in the description, so please.
I'd say you better subscribe or we'll bash in some skulls, right?
And let's see who we got in the chat here. We have Mr. Eric Douglas. He goes, okay. And our other wrench, Mr. Kai. How are you, sir? And be sure to hit that like button, folks. Share the stream and whatnot. And we're going to start with some kind of sad news. And last week on SmackDown, it was announced, and this is news that we never want to hear. Kevin Owens will be missing WrestleMania this year due to a neck injury that he's been dealing with for a few months, and he is being told he needs to have surgery on his neck. So, knowing the history with wrestlers and neck injuries, Daniel Bryan, Paige, Edge, the list goes on and on and on. If this is a work, that this is the most bad taste work there is, and I think there was something that there may have been something just, hello, Charlotte, how are you, my dear? There may have been something nagging in his neck, but I think that match at the Rumble, especially when he took that Alabama slam through the ladder bridge, may have exaggerated it. So that's just my thought on this. I think, and as far as I would love to see Kevin Owens back in the ring. As of right now, there is no timetable on when or if he is coming back, and he will be sorely missed. And so, but definitely get his health back first, because when he does come back in the ring, this is one of the most, if I would describe Kevin Owens in a word, it would be versatile. This is a guy who can literally do anything. So just thoughts. I will start with Matt and we'll work our way up. Matt, thoughts on Mr. KO?
Well, I followed him since 2002 when him and Sammy, when him and Sammy first came to my attention. El Generico,
right,
having matches. I think he was on one of Tommy Dreamer's House of Hardcore pay-per-views when Tom was trying to start his own wrestling federation back then. I wish I still had those first 10 of them. Anyway, and he's always did the wear and tear on his body style of wrestling, and obviously wasn't in the greatest of shape until those back then. He wasn't in great shape, but he had that extra 50 or 100 pounds, and that wears on you when you're doing all this shit, I hope he gets better from this. I don't know. I mean, look, he's had a long enough career to retire. You know what I mean? He could legit retire right now and be a Hall of Fame level type performer. So, I don't, a lot of these guys, whether it's Adam, whether it's Edge / Cope, or it's Daniel Bryan or whatever, Kurt Angle, they get these injuries that you or I would be laid up for life for. And literally 3 months later, they're working at like pro football players, So,
right.
I mean, I hope for the best for him, and hope him and his family, he makes the right choice.
All right. Brad, thoughts on Kevin Owens?
Yeah, honestly, I was watching the whole thing again today just to catch up on what he said on SmackDown. And I did have the thought, like, God, I hope this isn't a work, because, like you say, it's bad taste. But
well,
it doesn't
let me
seem to
interject
be.
there. Wait. It's always a work. In other words, they use everything now. So for the past 15 years, everything, even deaths are work. They work it in now. You know what I mean? So it's everything's a work. You just gotta accept that the way social media works. Sorry about that.
I just mean I hope it's actually he's actually getting treatment and not like.
Right.
Oh yeah. That's
what I was concerned about. I went back and just to remind myself, because I didn't know Kevin Owens or Sami Zayn until they joined NXT a few years ago, and I just went back and watched their matches in NXT. I mean, when they when Kevin Owens joined, Sami was already there, and then began their feud in the WWE. And Sami and Kevin, friends for many years, many years. So they know how to work with each other, kind of the same way that like Edge and Christian know how to work with each other. They know their styles, they know how to pull off an effective match. And anytime that you have them in a match together against each other, that rivalry thing, it's going to be something to watch.
Right.
It was this year. And, I don't know if we'll see it again, but if you can't, then look, he did put in a hell of a career, and he goes out being, on top of his game, because this is it. I don't recall. Has he ever been out like this?
No,
I don't think so.
Not that I know.
So to go that long without this serious of an injury, doing what he does, that is impressive. But he does have a wife and kids to think about, so
right,
that's the most important thing.
Mr. Ego, your thoughts on KO?
Okay, I will preface this by saying that, guys, I'm not a medical doctor, but I've taken about 8 or 9 years worth of medical courses. We're talking general anatomy, physiology, comparative anatomy, the whole works. Even first-year medical student anatomy and physiology. So I will go by what I've seen and me shadowing an orthopedic surgeon when I was a junior in college. All right. So the thing that they're saying that he had before this happened was spinal stenosis. Basically, if you look down your spine, there's a tube. It's basically getting narrower. Basically, spinal stenosis that Lex Luger has, kind of the same condition. They're like, it's a mild to moderate issue. What they're saying is that when you guys are saying the matches he had in January made it worse, makes me think that he might have pinched a nerve in his neck, especially to the point where it's affecting his mobility, which means he might have to have spinal fusion surgery and be out for at least 6 months, which is my best guess. I knew that when they did back surgeries on you, like where your lower back is, you're out 6 months in general. So if it's 6 to 12 for someone like Kevin Owens, it's pretty serious, and it's probably going to be a spinal fusion. When you have injuries like that, it is very serious, especially for them not to have a timetable. I just hope it's not going to sacrifice his mobility generally moving forward. Like, are you going to be able to turn your neck? I don't know how the thing he didn't say was that you've got about, I think, 7 or 8 vertebrae in your neck, and the closer you get to one is the higher up you go.
C7, right. C7.
Oh, it's the C7.
No.
Okay,
but
7. Yeah. It's the
7
7 vertebrae.
C's,
The cervical
7
Yes.
C's,
Yeah.
12 T's, 5 L's.
Yes, yeah. So the thing is, like, the closer you are to one, and that's
Yeah.
it's how bad it is. So the thing is, I don't know which vertebrae it is, which means it could be anywhere from like, hey, do the surgery, take some time off, to you might not be able to turn unless you do this with your whole body. So I mean, it's more serious than I thought it was based on what I heard. So yeah, I just hope that he's able to be okay, functionally speaking, for the rest of his life after they fix it.
All right, so that's some of the glum news. However, here is a positive thing to see. We always love seeing this. No sound needed. I wonder who this is. Anyone have a guess?
What is
Matt
his name?
Hardy.
We'll just watch the
Kairi
movie again. We'll just watch the movie again. Yep, that is Kairi Sane. She is in training again for in-ring training, looking to get back in the ring as soon as possible. That is always a great thing.
I wish Oscar would get better.
I know, right?
Agreed. That's the only thing I can think of, because I wouldn't want to fool with a neck injury, man. I'll fool with anything but anything above the shoulder. That'd be rough.
Because that might kill him.
Yeah. Yes. Put it lightly. Yes. Put it very lightly. Yeah.
Okay, so we got some build to WrestleMania. Now I want to start with Raw this past Monday, and I said last week the follow-up to one of the best segments ever, which actually made a match interesting. Which actually, Brad, since you weren't here last week, what did you think of the bloodbath at the hands of Gunther and Jimmy Uso, just mentally torturing Jay, watching his brother being helpless and being pummeled and being murdered in Minecraft?
Was there a match? It was necessary because there was no feud without this.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, Jay. In this, I can't say anything with really getting into the promo, because before I watched the promo this morning, yesterday I watched the match, and what have we been saying before? There's like yeet, and he gets up and yeets, and that's it. And
Boring.
it's just like, why do we care about this match? I mean, yeah, everyone's going to go yeet for 7 minutes as he walks down to the stage to the ring. But other than that, no one likes Jey Uso. No one believed Jey Uso was credible. That match needed.
How dare you? How dare you?
So
go on.
There is the online discussion about Jay. Now, if you go to a arena, that says something completely
different.
Mm-hmm. However, Monday, I said that the follow-up is what's going to matter. Which, by the way, folks, if you're liking what you're hearing, hit that like button. We are already at 8. We have a goal double-digit likes So let's get at least a couple more in. And Jay's music hits. The crowd is yeeting. Jay comes out. He's wearing all black. The only marketing merchandise is his sunglasses. And he is not yeeting. Comes through the crowd. And I'm like, okay, good. And then he didn't let Gunther talk. Gave this actually a good promo for Jay. The fucking fans are stupid. I just talked to my mama. Yeet. Why weren't you there, Joshua? Yeet. And Jay, like 3 times, was telling the crowd, stop. Wrestling fans are dumb. I'm just saying.
Well,
as a collective group. But
Yet that a person can be smart. People are dumb as a
Dumb.
collection.
I totally disagree because yeet is the new what, and the way you deal with the what chants are you don't give them a chance to say what. You don't give them a rhythm, like you don't talk in a rhythm. What chanting
that
needs
is
happen?
fair.
Well, that's
what you need to happen in a rhythm. Well, he's got to learn to do more if he wants to stop the eating. He made the eat. He's got to live with it. You know what I mean?
I tend to agree with you, and I think the what chant has outlived its usefulness too. So we get this very personal, very direct, a little more Uso penitentiary feel. So it's not the comic-y, fun-loving, hey, I'm the Yeet Master. Now I'm Jay Uso, and I'm going to kick your ass.
I like that.
So, Ego, I'm going to start with you this time. Since he wasn't dressed as a highlighter, he was dressed as a Sharpie. Your thoughts, sir?
First of all, he was in the assorted pack. He just chose black that day. Let's get that straight, okay? I have a few packs, so I know what I'm talking about here, okay? That was true. That's true. Yeah, finally we get that. That's fair. I mean, finally we finally got the promo that I thought was gonna happen. I think a lot of this should have happened way sooner. We know, but at least they tried to course correct a week and a half out. Fantastic promo. Yeah, it was a great promo, like you said, for Jay, and this is the I guess the infusion shot that Jimmy provided that he needed to like give this some emotional weight. Because otherwise, it's just running out, yeet, sneak attack, running out, yeet, sneak attack. Like, even I'm like, this is getting repetitive, and you
Boring.
You asked what I thought, sir. All I'm saying is, at this point, thank God, it's a little bit more emotionally grounded and not all flash and substance, just flash and dash. There's more substance.
Duh.
That's all I'm glad for. I'll take it.
Matt, thoughts? Matt.
Oh,
Matt.
sorry. So I'm not a fan of the Usos, the discount young bucks as I call them, and he did a good promo. He's got a, how do I put it? It was a necessary third phase of the promo wars.
Correct.
Okay, but he's got to learn if he wants to be a big timer. He's got to learn to do more than just say the same thing over and over again.
I
agree. And he's got to learn if he made the eats, he's got to live with them, or he's got to learn how to deal around them. So I mean, it was like I said, those are my thoughts on it. It was necessary. It was necessary next stage of the promo war. It got across the point, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But to grow. I mean, I hate that they're going to give him this title. I just hate it.
This is going to be a sink or swim moment for Jay, because if this match at Mania is a stinker, then we know where the ceiling is for Jay as a singles editor. Jay is fully aware about last year and how bad that match was.
Yeah.
Jay has to have the match of his life.
Yes.
And he's actually in the ring with a great person who can lead him to that.
The problem is he doesn't. He basically combines some of the reason I call them discount Young Bucks, those who don't know, the Usos took the Young Bucks' basic super kicks and way of moving, like doing certain moves in the ring, and combine that with the same basic 5 Samoan moves: the Samoan drop, the spear, the Samoan leap off the top rope, the snooker smash splash.
Don't forget they took the don't forget they also took the Deadly Death Drop.
Oh yeah. And they don't. I know wrestlers have signature moves, but the best wrestlers do more than their signature moves. They don't just repeat their signature moves 5 times during the match in a sequence of the match. Now I can guarantee you, the only people who will super kick someone more in a match than the Usos are the Young Bucks. I can guarantee it, and that's not because the Young Bucks used to want to super kick more. It's because the Young Bucks matches last longer in general. That's it. So,
Right. Yeah. All right, Brad, your thoughts?
I pretty much agree with what everyone said. I thought it was necessary, like you say, to bring something into this this fight. I mean, this match. I mean, this is my problem right now with this whole build to WrestleMania in general, which may tie into what we talk about later. But I don't know if it's going to help. It makes it better, but we still have a taste of literally since February. We just had Yeet. We haven't really had a build to the match. We just had Yeet and, Gunther pushing them around a lot. So is it too little, too late? That's the question.
We will see.
That's the question.
I will say this. It's taken a match that I gave literally no shits about whatsoever, and now I'm like, okay, I'm interested.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, but that was not the big talk over the weekend and going into this week. Oh no. Well, it was kind of a promo, and what was originally could have about a year ago, which I think when I said that this match would happen at Mania, I thought this would be a dream match. This has turned into a disaster, absolute disaster, and that is Charlotte Flair challenging Tiffany Stratton.
That doesn't even look like Charlotte Flair. What did she have done?
She lost. No, well, I think there was some facial surgery and whatnot, but in her time off, she lost some weight because of her injury. I mean, she is a lot leaner.
She looks good.
I think she looks way too thin.
I like that.
She looks awkward. It looks awkward,
right? And
yes.
and her ring gear now doesn't fit properly.
Oh, is that what that is?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I was trying to figure that out. It looks okay. That's what that is. Okay.
So this started out a couple weeks ago when they had a side-by-side interview, and Tiffany, who's very green at this is her first full year on the main roster.
Okay.
She's been in the business for 4 years total. Is doing a promo segment with Charlotte Flair. Now, I think Tiffany got warned that Charlotte Flair is going to go off script, and I don't think Tiffany really thought that was going to happen. That was weird. Why did they have a similar fit in the crowd? Oh well, we will talk about that in just a second.
That's true. Yeah.
But Charlotte, because Tiffany was trying to stay on script, Charlotte started ad-libbing, improvising, going off script, and just running her over. and made Tiffany look like a geek, total geek. So this past Friday, apparently Charlotte went off script again. Only this time, Tiffany had some ammo locked and loaded, ready to go. Now, without getting into specifics, I think there is generally heat between these two. I don't think they like each other much.
Yeah.
Thoughts around the horn, Brad? Start with
On
you.
the promo or just the two of
Just-
them?
I'm
Just-
trying to figure that out.
In general, not going into anything specific yet.
This is awkward. This is not well scripted. Even going off script, like you've mentioned, it shows really the greenness of Tiffany not being able to at least, get some sort of comeback in the last one. And even what happened it's not working. It's not working. Like you said, Joker, it's like this is a match you wanted to happen. You got Charlotte coming back, and it's like, okay, now it's going to be heel Charlotte. Because honestly, look, Charlotte makes a good heel. And Tiffany's got the crowd behind her, and you think a good heel would be able to hang. And the first time she did, and the second time, it's like, what the hell are you doing? You got one person who we know is green, and one person we know is a veteran, and now she looks green. The whole I turned off this promo at 6 minutes in. I turned it off. I didn't even get to the part where we talked, 0-3. I'm like, I know what's going to happen. I don't care.
Right.
It was
Ego
so
thought.
bad, and she couldn't handle.
sorry.
She couldn't handle a Chicago crowd. Jesus Christ!
I'll get into that in just a
Right.
second.
With-
I'll get to that in a second. Ego, general thoughts.
General thoughts is this. Now I'm striking a parallel so that it makes sense to me in my head and you guys. So they did a documentary on the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and they talked about the first season that Will Smith.
Seriously, no one cares.
This is why I'm needed on this show. Anyway, so they talk about how Will Smith would lip everyone's lines back to them during the show. So if you watch the first season, he's actually saying their lines while the person's saying it. And while everyone thought it was annoying, they're like, he's trying to learn, so I will stay on script. That is not what Charlotte Flair did. And that's the problem that I have is mainly with her. Like, you're making this so much worse than it needs to be for someone that's new to this. And again, we'll get into the specifics of, but generally speaking, like, I kind of hold Charlotte personally responsible for the debacle and the awkwardness of what has been.
All right. Matt, your thoughts.
So, okay, first things first, Charlotte Flair is known to be almost a bitch behind the scenes. She's not like a friendly person. She's however you want. She's not CM Punk bad, but she's someone who most wrestlers don't personally associate with outside of having to work with them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, the next thing is she's never been more than, like, on a scale of 1 to 10, where 10 is Dusty Rhodes or MJF, and 0 is like Eugene. Remember Eugene, that character?
Oh yeah.
Charlotte Flair is a lot closer to Eugene than she is to MJF and Dusty Rhodes on a promo scale, and she's maybe a 3. I don't have better days. And Tiffany is new and probably not much more than 5. So with these two, you have to give them a script and say, if you don't do this script, we're just going to cut the camera off and go to a brawl behind the scenes somewhere.
Okay.
I mean,
agree.
you can't, and then when they go off the script, goes to their personal stuff.
Mhm.
Now, is this personal so bad that they're going to freelance in the ring and actually hurt each other? That's happened before,
Her,
you
her and Nia. Her and
yeah.
Nia Jax.
Plenty of times, Ricky Steamboat beat up Don Morocco for real in the ring once.
Uh-huh.
Because they knew about the personal beat, but Vince didn't put a stop to it before it got there.
Lesnar and Braun Strowman.
Yep. Lesnar, Braun Strowman, Perry Saturn, and random guy. And Perry Saturn had Vince punished him with that mop.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, Moppy. Oh my God. I
yeah.
forgot about Moppy.
Okay, so I'm going to start going into these specifics here because apparently WWE was not happy with either of them.
Mm.
but there was more heat on Charlotte.
She's the vet.
Now, and again, this is where I think her entire return. I mean, she won the Rumble. Her first promo, she's already getting nuclear level heat from the crowd. I have never heard this type of booing for Charlotte, because as much as some folks may not like her, Charlotte still had her fans, and it would be a mixed bag. This is seriously booing. I mean, this past Friday on SmackDown, Chicago was relentless on her. That was Logan Paul level. That was Dominic level. That was John Cena in Europe level. I mean, I think she's genuinely rattled by this. This has thrown her off. Absolutely thrown her off. And you got something to say?
Remember we talked this way back. She was supposed to be coming back as a face with Tiffany as the heel.
Right.
And the crowd was like insta heel on her.
Yeah. Yeah. Because that's how Tiffany was booked. She was booked as a like Valley Girl bratty heel. And Charlotte was going to come back the conquering hero. I've come back from injury. And the fans were like, we don't care. We don't like you. And Charlotte is, as Matt has said, is known for not being is not a fun person to work with. Mm-hmm. I mean, I have said it here famously when she beat Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania 36 for the NXT title, and she went down to NXT. She was a nightmare. She didn't want to put anyone over. She did not want to do matches. The only way they got the title offer was in a triple threat where it was Rhea, Charlotte, and Io. Io pinned Rhea to win the title because Charlotte didn't want to take a pin.
Charlotte,
or she got called up.
No.
No, I'm saying like that what you described. That was before she got called up, or when she went back down.
When she went back down.
Yeah.
Damn.
Back down. Yeah.
Wow,
as opposed to say Becky Lynch, who went down to NXT, took the title from Stratton, but put her over and made her look really good, and then put Lyra over when she passed the title onto her and took a pin. So you've got two different mindsets of how to work. And again, Charlotte is known for this. As I have said, she is selfish, completely selfish. And Tiffany, a lot of folks backstage, from what I am hearing, were like, Tiffany was just standing up for herself. She's not going to get run over and let Charlotte just dictate how this goes.
Agreed.
And now I do think that the line got crossed, which apparently that was approved. The approval of, when you after the match, you'll be just like you are in real life, alone. That part was approved. It's when Tiffany went, what is that now? 0-3, and then went woo and dropped the mic. That was not approved. That was definitely a shoot in that part. And then because Tiffany shot her shot, Charlotte had to get the last word. Is that why Kaiser's in my DMs?
We don't fucking believe you. Fuck out of here with that.
Well, did anyone see Kaiser's response?
Yeah.
No, I didn't.
Kaiser tagged Charlotte on X and just has the clip of the famous Davey Boy Smith's wife and Shawn Michaels incident where Shawn Michaels said sweetie, don't flatter yourself.
Word. Exactly.
Okay, Brad.
Exactly.
Thoughts on this build and this promo battle? Thoughts?
It's just, at least with Jay and Gunther, they did a course correction of sorts
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
to try to build. This is getting, like you said, this is getting worse. Where you said this could be a dream match.
Yeah.
It's almost like I'm wondering if they're going to short the match.
Yeah.
I mean, what would you think this match would last normally? 15 minutes?
12.
What if it's under 10?
Okay.
Do you think that maybe like, look, we can't do this. These two are, what if there's like legitimate heat and they're going after each other? Like, screw this. This ain't worth it. We're just going to get through this and, circle the wagons afterwards.
Okay. Now it depends on the talent. Like say for example, if there was a match between a program with CM Punk and Kevin Owens, those two don't like each other.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, they do. Okay.
No.
Wow.
But they're professionals, and they know that this is going to draw the money, and they're going to act accordingly because they're professionals. Charlotte is being unprofessional.
Yeah.
She should be the one leading Tiffany,
Yep.
making her better in this entire process.
It's almost like she doesn't accept the role of being a veteran. She wants the accolades.
Right.
And part of the role of being the veteran in wrestling is like, okay, now you're a Jedi master. Now you have to instruct the younger groups. Here come a bunch of Padawans. You got to teach them how to properly wield a lightsaber. Okay. So now we got Tiffany, who's got her lightsaber, but doesn't quite know how to wield it just yet. So you bring in a master, even like if Becky Lynch was still around. I think Becky would have probably been a better pair up. She could have come back and been bad Becky and probably would have been more professional about it. But Charlotte Flair, of course, we know she has an ego and she's still riding on her daddy's coattails. And I'm sorry, you're not Rick. And the line is stupid. I mean, look, everyone knows that you compare her to Rick all the time, whatever. But she's not Ric Flair. She doesn't have the charisma that Ric Flair does, and she can't deliver a promo like Ric Flair. She has the name.
Matt, thoughts?
She's not even Ric Flair in his 60s. Put it that way.
Okay, and let's not forget the only reason Charlotte is doing this is because David died.
Yeah. She didn't lie there.
Forgot about that.
She did not lie about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, okay, let's. I mean, her in the ring wrestling skill, like
she's fine. I mean, she's
there's no
athletic.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, no question on that. Right. Now, there's always a part of me that thinks everything is a work. I mean, I'm still one of the guys who thinks the Mantra Screwdriver is an actual work. It wasn't actual Screwdriver, was a work. Okay. Long after we're dead, there'll be a book published by Triple H Jr. That details the,
which is weird because he has girls. Okay,
yeah.
But go on.
Well, give Stephanie more time. It's like, Triple H has strong genes. Anyway, so like when I hear all this, so whenever I hear this going on, I know there's real life heat with anyone has heat with Charlotte. So the question is he taking advantage of that by having them go off what, for example, right? When they had the promo where they went off script and then they edited out on the sequels, they basically spread the word that it got edited out. It wasn't that they hid that it got edited out. You know what I mean? Like other wrestlers were commenting on it. In other words, so like when Kaiser responded and all that, if they really wanted to hide it, Triple H would send an email saying, "Don't comment at all on social media about this." It would have been, So I think maybe there was some real heat. I think they're trying to use that to leverage an advantage going in. And I think they might. I mean, on one hand, that you always worry about an unscripted actual shoot where they hurt each other, but they might try to book the match that way. Well,
And as Matt and I have said, and other folks have said, that when it comes to a shoot promo, there's only really a few people that can do it effectively. These two are not at it.
Yeah. These two are a mile away from that. like I said, on the scale of 10 being, MJF or Dusty, and
Punk
0
or-
being
yeah.
Eugene, these are closer to 0 than they are. Both of them are closer to 0 than they are to 10. And that's another thing, by the way, just to get it out there. I would say that 90% of pro wrestlers, they're as good as they're ever going to be at a promo the day they are born.
Yeah.
Like that ability to sort of vocalize and whatever. That's something that could be learned, arguably. Maybe it's formative experience when you're 5, blah, 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 right? But for the most part, I'm sure Ric Flair was shooting stuff like that, shooting those promos up when he was 12 on the playground. Not saying high-flying, jet-flying, but he was very verbose as a 12-year-old. You know what I mean? And some do learn the ability to shoot the mouth off and gab and all that. But for the most part, 90%, they're as good as they're ever going to be at it before, and you're not going to change them much,
All right. Ego thought. And you being a lover of mic work, and this was like the opposite of good mic work.
Man, it was rough watching, only with the promise of what Tiffany said when I saw the preview is what got me to actually watch the whole promo through. It was awful, and it was awful isn't the word. It was watching a train wreck that you didn't want to see, but you're strapped in, you can't get out of it. You're like, oh my God, when will this is Jesus Christ, please get me out of this. I don't know whether or not we're doing more in depth on this, but I mean, look, the 48 laws of power, and the 48th law is be formless. Okay, there's the observance of the law, and there is the transgression of the law. Observance of the law would be Dom Mysterio. Came in as a baby face, people hated it. Now he's Dirty Dom, everyone loves him. Charlotte Flair is a transgression of that law because she does not want to change. Like, from what you guys have said, she's been the same from NXT back up to main roster, back down to NXT, back up to main roster. She's not going to change, and it's like you're not going to be able to be in this as long as you think if you're unwilling to change and you're a hard person to work with. I don't understand at this point why you wouldn't want to.
It's been over a decade, sir, and she's still here.
That's what I mean. I guess it's just damn. Like,
nepotism is strong in WWE.
I know that surviving Charlotte Flair documentary is going to be bananas.
So someone else who had a thought is someone who I've shown on the show before, and he had a quote, and that is Brian Alvarez. And let me just read what he said here. Brian Alvarez, this is from the Wrestle Talk, and Brian Alvarez says, Charlotte thing is, if stuff starts to go wrong, I'm going to make sure that the audience knows it's the other wrestler's fault, not mine. What she should be doing is if things start to go south, she needs to try to reel it in. She's the veteran. She's been doing it longer. It's her job to try and save it. If she ends up getting heat because the fans don't understand who screwed up, whatever. That's part of your job. Mm-hmm. And I think this just another indication that Charlotte Flair is being unprofessional and being selfish. She has not gotten the reception that she thinks she has, that she thinks she deserves, and she's taking it out on talent, which she's been known to do in the past. So this is one of the matches for WrestleMania. SmackDown, we got 3 more matches announced, which we got, and the card's starting to build, the entire match card, which, by the way, folks, I will not be going to the WrestleMania, but I will be attending on Saturday morning NXT Stand and Deliver. Now, if y'all would like a live the reaction video, just my thoughts after I get home, throw a 1 in the chat, and we'll see where we go. Ego, can you keep an eye out on the chat and just let me know how, if ones are popping up and stuff?
Yeah, you got it, man. Yeah,
cool. All right, cool. So it's finally official. Io Sky, Rhea Ripley, and Bianca Belair Brad is like,
No, it's Bianca Belair versus Rhea Ripley featuring Io Sky.
the women's
Word.
world champion, Io Sky.
Guest starring.
She'll also be present.
Guest starring.
Right.
Yeah. Special appearance.
Which,
Right.
by the way that segment ended, I mean, that entire segment, that's a very Vince Styles segment. Well, you bring everyone in, and instead of having a table, you had the sniping between Bianca and Rhea. Io tries to jump in, gets pie face again. That springboard drop kick though was fucking beautiful. Absolutely
That's very
fucking
nice.
beautiful.
There's no way they could pull this off without killing Bianca, but it's a video game type spot. But in the match, right? Let's have Io on the top rope jumping down, then Rhea grabs Bianca by the ponytail and swings her like a mace and just whacks Io out of the sky.
That would wreck her, but it'd be awesome.
I honestly think that this match, that's because it was for the segment. That's why. Now, I will say this, and I know folks talk about, well, Bianca's undefeated at WrestleMania. The streak has to continue. Actually, she does have a loss, but it was on a pre-show match, which doesn't actually count.
It doesn't.
So, but here's the more disturbing fact. As I said last week, Joshi's of late are 0-8 between Asuka, Kairi, and Io at the Mania. If Io comes out with the title, it'll be the first Japanese superstar to retain or win a title at WrestleMania in 25 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So,
And
personally,
it might actually happen because Vince is gone.
Pretty much.
It might happen. I think, and I think because of the bickering between Rhea and B is becoming so big, that's a feud in and of itself that doesn't need a title.
Correct.
So I do think it gives me a little hope, just a little hope, that Io does retain. I'm hoping. We also got another multi-man match for the Intercontinental Champion, Braun Breaker, versus Finn Balor versus Cero Miedo Penta and Dirty Dominic Mysterio. Interesting. Right. Thank you, Fred. Actually. So,
Well, I would say Breaker's not keeping the title if it's a four-way match.
okay.
I don't think you can.
Hear me out. This could be a hot take. Dominic Mysterio leaves the new Intercontinental Champion.
I could see that very easily. I mean, they have tried to rehab him away from being a comedy act the last few months. So,
And it also goes to this subplot of Finn finally being excommunicated from Judgment Day.
they need to jump him out so hard, kayfabe as if they broke like 15 bones, so he comes back angry and get back to his original Finn Balor character that Vince ruined. Okay,
You mean the demon?
Yeah, well, the demon's aside, like the demon only comes out certain times, but
Right.
the original Finn Balor, Prince
Was
Devitt,
amazing.
for those who know.
Yeah,
uh,
what you're gonna say, like back at the old Bullet Club days?
yeah.
Devitt? Yeah. Prince Devitt days. Okay. Ego, your thought on a fatal four-way.
I like on it. You know, we get a champ on Dom, Finn Balor communicated, and most of all, it actually. Ooh, that is good. That is true. I like that. Yeah.
Finn Balor, I love it.
Finn Balor. Yeah. I do like the fact that it would free up both Penta and Braun to pursue like a heavyweight title, or at least be in the conversation, not be tied to that belt. I was always hoping Braun Breaker would actually get a chance at the title, and that the belt he has now is like a placeholder. So I like that idea of which of Dirty Dom leaving with the championship. So I'm okay with that.
All right, Brad, thoughts?
I actually was going to pick Finn Balor to win, but when you said Dominic, it actually makes more sense.
Yeah.
I do think Braun is going to drop it. I think Breaker's going to drop it. And honestly, I do think it's a little too early for Penta to get it. I mean, he's been here a couple months.
Right.
I
Yeah,
mean,
crazy.
even though he's over, he's clearly over. But there's more story to build, I think, on the Judgment Day side to finally basically revamp it. Dom's Judgment Day, whatever. Maybe make him the leader, which is a really weird idea, but and like Matt was saying, we got to get back. We need to have a better Finn back.
And I'm just gonna say that match on Monday, that spear that Carlito took from Braun Breaker. Braun jumped like what, 10 feet practically?
Did you see the X post that Carlito put?
Hilarious. And I do think that they're going to start to move Braun more into the main event picture very, very, very soon. Sooner rather than later. We also got a match announced because Ray was upset that American-made faction is giving the LW the woes, and they're just not. And Adam Pearce is like, okay, I'm giving you a match against Chad Gable. And Ray's like, no, I want El Grande Americano at WrestleMania. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, Chad Gable is going to miss Mania now for 2 years in a row.
Is he injured or something? What happened to him?
I have no idea. I mean,
I'm so upset with the way they're treating Chad Gable. They may drive him to AEW.
Well, at least we got this, Americano Giganto, whatever his Grande, whatever his name is.
Right.
He looks like an up-and-comer.
They should do like, remember when Hogan was had the mask?
Oh God, Mr. America,
and they brought the lie detector out. They should have Chad do the lie detector.
But Chad's not here, Matt. There's only
he's been sick. I mean, he's been
and
sick.
Have him answer in Spanish too, even better.
Silencio.
Sí.
Gracias.
Gracias. Me amo el Grande Americano. No, me amo.
What do you prefer, quesadilla or burrito?
Hilarious.
Which I find hilarious, and
they're even better. Have all the luchadors go nodding like, yeah, he's like in the ring like this.
Which I mentioned last week that there are folks online who are upset as, oh my God, it's so offensive, and I'm like, he's named, but he's also named after a drink you order from Starbucks. I mean, really?
They don't get
wrestling. Can we also don't forget El Generico, for God's sakes?
They don't get wrestling. If Chad Gable / El Grande Americano were to go to AAA right now or CMLL, he would be so over. They would cheer for him like no tomorrow. So they have a sense of humor in Mexico.
So I'm going to ask the two guys who watched Lucha, if El Grande Americano appeared in Lucha, how would that go over?
The crowd would pop like
gold
tomorrow.
Gold, absolute gold.
Gotcha.
Absolute gold.
I'd watch out every gimmick they could for him. They would have him in like their luchador, like luchador. There's one they do where the luchador gets like a pyramid scheme, and the guy on top has to flip off and land on a bunch of dudes on the bottom. They would help him do that. They would just go over the top to put him over.
That'd be awesome, man.
And now I did mention last week that someone else who deserved a spot on Mania is who had no path as of yet and was not on Mania last year, but after 2024, Liv deserves a spot on the Mania card. Well, unfortunately, she will be on the Mania card, but in probably the worst way possible because she's a tag team champion, which everyone knows my thoughts on the women's tag team titles. So there's going to be a number one contender gauntlet match this Friday on SmackDown to determine who will face Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez at WrestleMania. And the teams are you ready for this?
Getting it in early.
The former women's tag team champions, KC2, Katana Chance, and Kaden Carter. The current women's intercontinental champion, Lyra Valkyria, teaming with Bayley. We have the two remaining members of Pure Garbage Collection, Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark. We have B-Fab and Michin, Alba Fire and Piper Niven, and Natalia and Maxine Dupree. So basically, they took Chelsea's sidekicks and called everyone else and said, "Okay, stop eating the catering. You have a match to do." I mean, honestly, it's gonna be Bayley and Lyra because they don't have a spot on Mania either. Now, as far as that's who's going to win the match, who should win? Who should win? Alba and Piper, because those two can go. Okay, and this is what the problem is. They haven't done anything with her. That's the problem.
She's always been boring.
She is not a very. She's as I say. She is a personality void. She just doesn't have that it factor. I mean, in ring.
You know what else?
In ring, she's fine. What?
I also notice every time someone needs to fix her ring gear because she's constantly adjusting it like she's about to fall out of it.
Well, that almost happened too.
How many times has that almost happened, though? Several times.
At this point, it's going to be done on purpose.
Yeah.
Blah.
Well, it's not that much.
Okay, so am I wrong in my thought on who's going to win this match? Matt, am I wrong?
Oh, you're pretty much right.
Ego?
I guess it's just I agree with Kyle. Like, why Lyra Valkyria and everything? Leave me alone.
Because right now, I truly think that they're just waiting for Becky Lynch to come back because Becky, as of right now, is the only one that has pulled anything of worth out of her.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So
okay, I guess. All right.
Brad, do you have another yawn to throw out?
Yeah, I just don't care. This is gonna be. Is this gonna be night 1 or night 2? You think?
I hope it's the undercard night 1, bro. I really hope
it's not going to be a pre-show match, if that's what you're saying. But it would be an early night 1 or an early night 2.
I don't know if I'm even be able to see it. I'm going to be on a plane.
It's your early bathroom break.
Maybe just go to the bathroom on the plane.
Which, by the way, folks, programming note: next week's show, we are on at a special time because we are on at 5 p.m. Pacific time. Brad will be here in Las Vegas. We have plans after the show, and we're also here for the big. Everyone's coming out for the big YouTube gathering, and then Brad and I on Thursday will be going to WWE World and hanging out and having fun.
Injury note: apparently, in his match with Swerve, Pac suffered a pretty severe ankle injury.
Oh,
So they cut the match short.
Pac.
That's what was his WWE name?
Aaron Neville.
Aaron Neville.
Oh, that's right. It seems, isn't that like a soul singer? The Neville brothers?
Yes.
Yeah. Not. He was just called Neville. I'm sorry. He was just called Neville. The man that Gravity forgot.
Neville.
I know that's
Pac the bastard.
One of his favorites. Okay, so Mania. But before we get to Mania, I just want to say one thing because I like because it has not been said in a while.
That's fair.
Hey, Rock, go fuck yourself.
That's our official channel motto, guys.
That's gonna have to be the channel motto.
It's like Joker's ringtone.
You know,
JV's walking down the street, all you people hear is, "Hey, Rock, go fuck yourself." Hey, Rock,
Well, you're not wrong.
just saying. So it is time. Exactly.
We might have to salute with my cheers for that one, actually.
Oh, boy, yeah.
Since it hasn't been
Hold on.
said.
Hold on, we get a cheers in here. Hold on. We got beverages here. I gotta.
Thank you, Fractured, for realizing the moment. We appreciate you.
Yes.
to the Rock, go fucking himself.
Salute. All right.
Okay, audience. Every time the Rock goes and fucks himself, you have to take a shot.
Oh God.
That's gonna be a great game.
Just ask Grok to make that image. There you go.
Yeah, please don't. So it is time for the Winston is Overbooked Top 5. We have a category, and we give our personal rankings of our top 5. And we score this in a point system. Our number 5 pick gets to 1 point, so on and so forth, up the ladder. So our number 1 point pick gets 5 points. Brad, our legal expert, takes care of all the points, even though he does math in 6s and not 5s. It's fine. It works. And today's topic is greatest WrestleMania entrance of all time. Just part of the pomp and circumstance. And thank you for everyone who is still here. I know we're maybe a few likes short of that double-digit like, so make sure you get those likes in. Again, check the links down below in the.
I'd say you better subscribe or we'll bash in some skulls, right?
And Jacob, if you're still in the chat, or Kai, there is a link in the description for Jacob's GoFundMe. If you could copy that and put that in the chat, please, that would be great. But yes, WrestleMania is about the spectacle. So part of that spectacle, yes, Matt.
To put this into perspective, a little virtual napkin math on top of my head. There have been 40 WrestleManias, a minimum of an average of 8 matches per WrestleMania, right? And every match had at least 2 people entering it. So that's a minimum of 620 wrestling themes, minimum, that we had to distill down into what we think are the 5 greatest of all.
Yes.
For you guys. For you.
I didn't watch 600.
It cost each of us millions and millions of dollars to do this. You also
I only got to 550 today, guys.
Okay.
Slacker.
So we're going to
He
start.
backed up to Ted DiBiase doing this.
So we're going to start with our number 5s. We're going to start to my stage right. Ego, your number 5, sir.
So when I look for WrestleMania entrances, I need there to be a spectacle. I need performance. I need the music to be on point. I need to be some showmanship. So at top 5, I've got Bray Wyatt's WrestleMania 30 entrance in New Orleans. Mood is set. New Orleans, you got Voodoo, you got Hoodoo, you got the Bayou. This man, Bray Wyatt, has Mark Crozer and the Rails sing Live in Fear live as he cuts a mini promo of him with the animal mask like Professor Pig from DC Universe. Comes out with a lantern. I think it was one of the first times that I'd seen Bray Wyatt. Comes out with the lantern with this the creepiest music I'd ever heard for WrestleMania, with a slow walk to the ramp, ending with him in the rocking chair and the yell before the crowd erupts. setting the moment, having the Calypso dancer at the very beginning, setting the stage for whatever voodoo or hoodoo we're about to witness was phenomenal. And I've got that as my 5 best WrestleMania entrants.
It's so badass.
Nice. Brad, you're number 5.
I seriously considered going with just a personal fan favorite, but it wasn't very spectacle oriented. That'd be back in WrestleMania 3. But what I went with is because when I was thinking these things, I went back and looked at a bunch of entrances, and like I instantly knew my number 1 just from what I remember for spectacle. But this number 5 is when I went back. I go, oh, I forgot about this one. So I went back and watched it, and it was WrestleMania 31. John Cena was competing against a newly free agent, Miro,
Rusev.
aka Rusev.
Rusev Brushka.
Rusev. And this is back when Rusev was still a thing. And he came in on a damn tank.
Yeah, with Lana. Yeah.
Yeah. With CJ Parker, I think her real name is.
It's CJ Perry.
Perry. CJ Parker is. Oh, that was probably someone from Baywatch. Same thing. It's just like he's coming out of this giant tank, and it's just really pumping up the. I mean, he wasn't Russian, but they're like pretending like it's like Ivan Drago. That's what he was being like, and he came in like that and it was a U.S. Championship battle, I think. So I mean, it's just that's a spectacle. That's the type of spectacle I was thinking of.
Nice. Matt, you're number 5.
So what it came down to for these 5 for me were, I mean, Rusev is a spectacle. Bray Wyatt had a spectacle. But like, what did I remember? Like, what when I watched it sang to my soul about that character and his entrance, right? Okay, so that's why these 5 are there, right? Now, 4 of them you'll notice a sort of common theme. One's going to seem like
you a theme. You a theme? No.
One of them you'll say, why the hell does Matt have that one on the list? But we'll get there. So number 5, WrestleMania, I think it's 29. This is when Undertaker rose from the underworld with all the arms lifting him out of the ground and all that.
Best match of that entire show. Best match of that entire fucking show.
Yeah, that again. Sometimes I remember these because of the match that happened. Like I remember all of these matches involved. I think every one of these was a good match. That I want to say, and I love the Undertaker. Obviously, yes, I could do hell. I could have done the top 5 Undertaker entrances and that's 5 of my top 10. You know what I mean? So, but that's my number 5.
All right, my number 5.
What Mania was that?
29.
29.
Yeah, against CM Punk. The only good match on that entire.
Yeah.
Because that show sucked.
Yeah.
So bad. Mine, we're going to last year. The main event, night 2. Boom, boom. Wrestling has more than one royal family. Music hits, crowd instantly is popping. The camera angle as he's rising up from the stage, take away the stupid skull mask, but we'll leave that aside. But then you got his wife coming out. You got the whoa, and they have a little moment, and she just says, "Finish the story." And he's coming down the rampway. Samantha Irvin's voice. I miss her so much as announcer. And it was just it didn't matter how good Roman's entrance was. This entrance, you knew Cody was going to win.
Yeah.
It was just amazing. So that's my number 5. Ego, you're number 4.
Number 4. Oh man. You guys have seen if you've watched our entrance video, you already know he's in this clip. Shawn Michaels, WrestleMania 12 entrance. My God. It starts out with his music playing, but he doesn't even come out. Was that Jim Cornette that came out first?
No.
I'm trying to figure out who that was that came out and pointed to the Raptors for HBK.
Was it
Lothario? I just watched it today. I watched it again today.
Yeah, I know who it was.
He's involved with Shawn Michaels training, I thought.
Oh, the Hispanic guy?
Yeah.
I think so. He's balding or whatever.
It's not Lothario, but it's something. It's with an L.
Yeah.
I forget his name.
Anyway, that guy comes out, and everyone's like, "That's not Shawn Michaels. What the hell?" And he points to the rafters, and 100 feet in the air, as told by Jim Ross, is Shawn Michaels ziplining to the ring. My black ass wants nothing to do with heights at all. I don't even do elevators all that well past the 15th floor. But when I saw that, I would consider ziplining just because I saw Shawn Michaels do it. As far as a huge cinematic looking entrance, that did it for me. I got number 4.
All right.
It was Jose Lothario.
Jose Lothario. There we go.
And that was WrestleMania what again? Ego?
12.
Gotcha. All right. Brad, you're number 4.
My number 4, and I believe this was his WrestleMania debut at WrestleMania 34. Someone who lost some luster since he's been there. But when he came out with the violins and just his song,
Yeah.
Shinsuke Nakamura.
That's
one of those that was spectacle, and it wasn't, like the difference. Like Rusev was like grandiose spectacle. This
Right.
there was something ultimately simplistic about it, but yet so massive, and it just was like, this is like an entrance, and that's the when you make your WrestleMania debut, that's an entrance you want.
Yeah. All right. Matt, you're number 4.
So my number 4 is WrestleMania 22. Triple H had already come back from the dead, and now in this one he becomes the King of Kings. That's proving Triple H is the return of the Messiah to us. This one, Triple H came up on the throne dressed like Conan the Barbarian, marched to the ring with the Motorhead
32, right?
blaring.
That's
Huh?
32?
20. I thought it was 22.
22.
22, sorry.
Yeah,
Sorry,
yeah.
22.
22.
And everything about like he's the King of Kings. JR's going, the King of Kings is among us. Like Jesus has walked to the ring dressed as Conan, But I the Motorhead gets me every time he plays it. Triple H knows how to do this character, and I miss him being a wrestler. I just miss him. I miss him and the Undertaker being a wrestler, basically.
All right. My number 4, actually, my number 4, 3, and 2 all kind of are intertwined. My number 4, we're going to WrestleMania 37. It's a match with Randy Orton. But there's this big box thing right by the ring. And there's Dark Alexa Bliss, and she's cranking this jack-o'-lantern type of thing. And then the Firefly Funhouse music theme plays. And then all of a sudden you hear Code Orange saying hurt and heal. And out comes the Fiend. And there's the pyro. And Alexa is just clapping her hands just gleefully. And then Bray Wyatt, the Fiend, jumps from the box, which is quite a bit higher than the ring, and does a flying tackle into Randy Orton to start the match. And I'm like, damn, that's
awesome.
They made a statement there. Number 3, Mr. Ego.
Man. All right. 3. Spectacle alone and the epic level of trolling. I'm going to give Rusev and Lana's entrance WrestleMania 31. It's like a huge juxtaposition because it's the United States champion and Rusev being Russian coming in on the tank in America, blasting from the tank, waving the Russian flag. Is an epic level troll jaw. If you are to believe the rumor that he has sex with his wife in the tank, is like takes it to another level of me. Like
I would have. Shit, I would have
too. Like that's awesome. Like, hey,
have you
like,
seen her?
I'm not gonna blame him. I would want to know how the mechanics. I know it's a tight space in the tank, but that's neither here nor there.
Doesn't
But
matter.
just for the
It's actually not that tight.
okay, actually, I gotta check out a tank. Anyway, I'm just saying for the epic level of trolling, for the spectacle of it, for trying to out American an American representing Russia with the United States Championship is an awesome way to make an interest for WrestleMania, and I got it at 3.
Nice.
Are we going to do honorable mentions before we do our number 1?
Maybe.
Because there's so damn many. Okay, got it.
I know. All right, Brad, you're number 3.
My number 3 was actually Ego's number 4. It is HBK from WrestleMania 12, coming in from the rafters. And one of the things that you have to remember is this is literally 30 WrestleManias ago.
Yeah.
So remember the time frame and the spectacle of what this was. Now, obviously, no one is going to be doing this ever again after what happened in WWE with Owen. But this was, I mean, everyone saw him coming in. Then he lands in the crowd. And it's like I remember him coming in, but I don't remember the part where he landed in the crowd. I'm watching him land in the crowd. I'm like, holy crap, he's actually coming through the crowd.
Actually, they did a zipline entrance, 39 Logan Paul.
Oh, they did.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
All righty. Matt, you're number 3.
So my number 3 goes way back to WrestleMania 6. It's Rhythm and Blues, which was the Honky Tonk Man and Great Diamond Valentine. Which coming down in the big Cadillac with Diamond Dallas Page driving the big Cadillac.
Yep.
Boy was anything but a backup guy, you know. And I've always loved the Honky Tonk Man. Not when I was a little kid. He was a heel. You hated him as a heel. But as I got older and appreciated heel wrestlers, he's one of the greatest heels of all time. He does great promos. You know, he's a great worker in the ring, clean worker, safe worker, puts guys over, does business. And I like the song. It's a
honky tonk man. Just a honky tonk man.
Yeah.
I'm cool. I'm cocky. I'm bad.
And the team of Rhythm and Blues was a Honky Tonk Man and Great Diamond Valentine, who not a lot of people know how good Great Diamond Valentine was too.
Oh yeah, he was very, very good.
Yep. So that's my number 3.
Okay. Rhythm and
I think this theme song actually charted on the country charts, by the way.
That's frightening. So my number 3, we're going to WrestleMania 34, and my last entry, the one cranking the box, it's her entrance, Alexa Bliss. She is in full goddess mode at this point, and she has herself up on a pedestal. So of course, her WrestleMania entrance, she's going to be on a pedestal, being lowered as her theme music plays, the smoke, the steam pyros coming up, and she's just looking over all of us like we are just bugs and insects. And it is just peak Alexa Bliss. And I loved it. I just absolutely loved it. It is my number 3. All right, Ego. We're getting to the big ones. You're number 2.
I am using this as a juxtaposition for my number 1, but I'm always going to want to be a good guy. I want people to like me. However, if I were ever to be a villain, they were to
hold
go ahead, what?
Hold on.
That is so cute.
You'll know my heel turn if it ever turns out. All I'm saying is, if I were ever went evil like Eugene on Hey Arnold, and I were to announce my presence, it would be the way Roman Reigns did it at WrestleMania 39. There needs to be a choir, there needs to be a violin, and someone needs to make a way for me to walk into that. I have been announced. I am coming through. Devastation and destruction will lie in your wake once you hear that music. You can never really beat a choir and a classical musical theme. So that's why I got number 2.
I would say, Ego, you kind of like to live that lifestyle now as a babyface.
It's very true.
His
heel turn incoming.
It's so badass.
Brad, you're number 2.
My number 2 is the same as Matt's number 5, Undertaker from WrestleMania 29. It's creepy. It's good and creepy. All the hands reaching up, and it's perfect Undertaker. Of course, we all, like you guys said, it is the only good match on that. But it satisfies the spectacle that is necessary for WrestleMania.
Gotcha. Matt, you're number 2.
So my number 2, I mentioned this last week. This is the first one that came to mind. And on the face of it, this should have been a horrible like entrance, okay? But it involved Triple H's theme song and Hot Chicks. So it's hard to, this is WrestleMania 30, I believe, the Golden Throne Triple H, with the 3 females who were the first.
Sasha Banks, Charlotte, Alexa.
I think that was their first WrestleMania.
Is that who they were?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And they were his concubines taking the golden crown off of him, and it surprisingly worked. Yes, the Hot Chicks, yes, Triple H's theme song, and Triple H's charisma and all that. But I will always love watching that entrance. Yes, Hot Chicks, but whatever.
Okay. My number 2 is Ego's number 5. We all know how big of a fan of the Wyatts I am. But WrestleMania 30, you got the dancer at first, and then the lone match. New Orleans, we're here. And then the live band playing. And I'm just like, oh, dear. Again, goosebumps, the real ones, not the bullshit, that thing. This was as close to a perfect entrance for the character of Bray Wyatt. You had the band members in the Plague Doctor masks, and you had Eric Rowan, you had Luke Harper, rest in peace, Brody Lee, and just this character, this aura, this presence of Bray Wyatt, perfectly encapsulated in this entrance. All right, sir. Ego, you're number 1.
All right. Kai mentioned why hasn't this been picked earlier, and that's because, good sir, it is my number 1. Never has anyone enveloped their own inner mummer than Seth Rollins' entrance at WrestleMania 40.
There's always a plan B.
I hated that entrance.
That's because you're not from Philly. Do you not know what mummers are? Matt,
yes,
you know about
I
mummers,
do.
Right?
It's
okay. So why do you have an issue with this? Bro, look at this. He broke it down. He had comics, which are your gestures. He had the Winch Brigade, which is your burlesque impersonators. He had string bands, which is music. He had the fancies, which were the elaborate costumes.
He just
and the fancy brigade.
From what was his from NXT had the party machine.
Yeah,
Adam Rose.
Adam Rose had all that too. So.
Yeah, all I'm saying
what
is
a terrible thing to steal.
Yeah, it's like there's a perfect use of bringing in the mummers from Philly, which is what you would call for Philly is it's the New Year's parade they have, like the first weekend in January. It doesn't matter if it's minus 30 or 80 degrees. Everyone's drinking beer at like 6 a.m. until they pass out at 1 or 2. 6 a.m. My bad.
Now,
I mean, 6 p.m. the night before.
Okay, and that's okay. You're talking to a guy who lives in Vegas, so
that's Vegas. So like y'all don't get to like minus 20 degrees on some nights. It was like, hey, until it's minus 10, but we're gonna be out at 6 a.m. We're starting to drink. Doesn't matter the weather. We got to see our mummers. There has to be a parade. There has to be spectacle. There has to be music. There's some choreography. There's costumes. Tell me you didn't see Seth Rollins and be like, yeah, that fits.
What, dressing up like he has a nose track.
Well, given that Seth Rollins dressed like a 1970s pimp, had he stolen the whole train, we would have been more impressed.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, that's my number 1.
Ego, I love you, dude. You're fucking awesome. And the abuse you take is great.
I was gonna get heat for that one. I knew it was gonna happen. but I did it for y'all. I did it.
Oh, you poor baby.
Brad, you're number one.
My number one is the entrance of Alexa Bliss, Sasha Banks, and Charlotte, also featuring Triple H.
Okay.
Nice.
Like I said, it was the first one that came to mind. I'm like, I pretty much have watched at least 75% of all WrestleManias, and that one still sticks out to me. It's just like, Matt had said Triple H 22 when he came out like Conan on the throne. This is like the next evolution. Now he truly
are you with
is.
me? Like we still understand why it worked other than hot chicks. Like it's just so weird. You think it would be like a glittery, like glitzy, glittery thing, but it just worked. It just worked, and like I don't know how.
And it was weird, but there's something awesome about it. Not just the hot. It was just something about it just worked. I don't know what it was. Hot checks definitely helped, but it worked.
All right, Matt, you're number one.
So my number one is from WrestleMania 20. So to put it in perspective, Kane had basically murdered the Undertaker and sent him to hell a few months before. Things looked despairing, but it was Undertaker's match. Would he be able to return for his match at WrestleMania? And out comes Paul Bearer, back from the dead as well, with the urn, leading the Druids out, and he comes out. People don't catch this right as Undertaker's coming out. When you hear the lightning before the music starts, Paul Bearer goes, "You're no son of mine," to Kane, disowning him. So and you see despair on Kane's face as his father disowns him. And then the music hits and Taker comes out dressed almost like he did originally, but with the modern cowboy coat.
Right.
And this is the last WrestleMania where supernatural shenanigans happened. It kind of faded after this, and that's my number one. My all-time favorite wrestler and my all-time favorite entrance of his for WrestleMania. I think he had one where he came out for SummerSlam, which was like with like a carriage when he was the Ministry of Darkness or whatever.
Right.
But like this is it. This is, and I could, the Druids. The only thing missing were the three other was Edge, Christian, and what's his face, Gangrel. The only thing missing was those two up to the side burning someone in a pot or whatever. So yeah.
All right. My number one. This man's name has been mentioned throughout the top five, so I think we can kind of say that this guy, when it comes to WrestleMania entrances, is the king of WrestleMania entrances. But mine actually comes from WrestleMania 21. On stage, you have Motorhead, and they start playing the game, Triple H's theme. And after the first chorus, all of a sudden, Triple H rises up under the stage, and he's in the middle of the band.
Yeah.
And the lights are going, the pyro's going. And Lemmy, at this point, is just making up words to do each verse. But you don't fucking care, because it's Triple H wearing big gold, and it's fucking Motorhead. And it is the most metal thing ever. And I will watch that entrance over and over and over and over. It is my absolute favorite entrance of all time. Triple H WrestleMania 21.
Well, you can watch most of Triple H's and Undertaker's themes of entrances over and over again for almost any of their WrestleManias. You know what I mean?
Right. Now, the one that almost made my list is Triple H's entrance, where Stephanie does a monologue at first, admonishing everyone, talking down to everybody. That made it. Okay. So, like I said, Brad, I think if we combine all Triple H's and all of the Triple H,
we would have first off, if we just go by individual WrestleManias, the clear winner is Triple H in 30 with 9 points.
Correct.
After that, we have a whole bunch of ties at 5, then a whole bunch of ties at 4.
Okay.
So
give us the ties. So let's just say Triple H is the clear number one.
Right. So what I see for 5 points left is HBK in 12, Bray Wyatt in 30. For some reason, Mummer Rollins in 40.
Watch your mouth.
Taker from 20.
Okay.
And Triple H from 21.
Okay, so let's take Triple H out.
Out. Okay.
Okay. Let's take the Mummers out.
We have two takers. We now have two takers. We have Taker at 29 and Taker at 20. Both with 5 points.
Ego. I'm so sorry, sir. And
but two people selected Taker for 29 as opposed to one person picking Taker for 20.
Okay, so let's take Taker 20 out.
And leave 29?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And so that also leaves two people picking Bray, right? Is that correct?
There are two Brays. We have Bray in 37 and Bray at 30. No, I'm sorry. Bray at 30 had 5 points.
Right. Okay, so go around the horn. Taker or Bray? Ego.
Bray.
Okay. Brad.
Taker.
Matt.
Taker.
Well, I'm going to go Bray. So we're at a stalemate here, I guess.
We call him Breaker. Or Under Wyatt.
So you want to? Are you fine with a two-way tie for second? Then Taker and Bray.
I'm fine with that.
I'm okay with that. Okay, that works for me. All right.
And then for number 2, and then for number 3, we have a lot of 4s.
We have 3 4s. We have Triple H in 22, but do we want to take Triple H out? So that leaves Bray at 37 and Rusev at 31. Rusev had 2 people picking him.
Bray at 37. Did I miss that?
You had Bray at 37.
Oh, the Fiend.
The Fiend. Oh, the Fiend. Okay, I'm sorry.
Which I had that as that was a 2-pointer. So let's just.
Oh, that was a 2-pointer. I've screwed that up. You're right. Sorry. So then it's Rusev.
Okay, the Rusev. I like it.
I'll take Rusev.
Yeah. All righty.
And extra points if you had sex with Lana in the tank.
It helps.
Hang on, I have something for that.
Yeah, but even
I'm just saying.
Even like small U.S. World War II tanks, 3 or 4 guys with tons of ammo. Tanks are bigger than you think.
Really? All right.
It's just uncomfortable.
All righty. So I want to thank everyone for being here. And before we go, Mr. LeftEyeEgo, the walking highlighter, what do you have in store this coming week, sir?
All right, got some things brewing that I'll work on for my next video. But for my next live, it's going to be this Sunday at 6 p.m. Me and Shiro, Ordinary Gains. We will be answering the age-old question that's been burning on the internet. What meal do you prepare for a gangbang?
Thank God you're finally answering that. I've been wondering for so long.
It's got the internet on fire.
Yeah.
Does it, though?
It does. I'll tell you all about it off screen.
Well, there's definitely some burning going on, but that may be something related to the gangbang.
Possibly.
I'm almost
Use protection, kids.
I'm afraid. I'm definitely afraid. Mr. Duke Devil 995, what do you have coming up next week?
Next week, of course, I will be on remote from Vegas. Probably in my hotel room. Undisclosed location. It's a huge location. It's the best location ever. But hopefully it has good internet. Tomorrow night I'll be on Static 2020's weekend pregame on my channel. Right now we have our weekly Wormhole Watch where we watched 14th episode of Deep Space Nine first season, The Storyteller, and we had much Bajoran hate from our resident Bajoran racist,
Shocking.
Jay Hitman. Go watch the hate. It's gonna flow next week too.
The hate is real. And the Macho Man.
Ooh yeah.
What do you have? What do you have?
I'll be stepping into it tomorrow in Room with the Empire channel with Joker. We're talking about random topics. This weekend on the questionnaires, we should be reviewing Wheel of Crime episode 6, I believe, or 7. 6. I think it's 6. That should drop this weekend on the questionnaires. Obviously, Wednesday is overbooked next week, and I think I think this Friday I will start up my live stream again. If not this week, then definitely next week. So, and
Gotcha.
that's kind of what I got going on.
Right on. As for myself, next week, everything is going to be predictions related, as next week, again, for Wednesday Nights Overbooked, special time, 5 p.m. Pacific time, because of we got plans, we got stuff to do. And next week's show, we're going to go over the official WrestleMania card and give our predictions for each match as far as our top five goes. I like Matt's little idea last week. We're going to do our top 5 current male and female stars.
5 males, 5 females.
Correct. So that'll be for next week, along with our official WrestleMania predictions. So again, thank you folks for stopping by. If you have not liked already, if you have not subscribed already,
I'd say you better subscribe or we'll bash in some skulls, right?
make sure that you do. And for all of us here at Wednesday Nights Overbooked, I want to say keep talking, keep smiling. Until next time, doodles.
And here we go.
Is like gravity. All it takes is a little push.
Ah!